Carly, is it?
Hi. So earlier you talked about balance and everything, and so I just wanted to ask, how do you, well, I mean, like technically speaking, everything. So how do you, like, what's important to you? How do you?
Oh, that's a great question. Priorities are huge. So you obviously prioritize. Let me give you an example that as a student you'll understand. I've had many students, and I've just started using different language lately, and it's not particularly nice. Student will say, I say, hey, where's your homework? And he says, oh, I didn't do it. I say, why not? And he says, what? I was busy, didn't have any time. And I say now, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. He goes, I said, what did you do this weekend? So, well, I worked. Oh, so you had time to work. Did you sleep? Well, yeah. Did you eat? Yeah. Did you hang out with any friends? Did you play any video games? Well, like, you had the time. It is a lie. People say don't have the time. You don't have your priorities right? So change your language. I didn't prioritize this homework, sir. You don't have to say sir. You say, I didn't prioritize my homework. Okay, because if you did, you would have gotten it done. You prioritize work because it pays you. You prioritize food because it feeds you, right? Homework? This is the problem with instant gratification. Our kids, our millennial kids, right, they grew up with so much so quick, and then we're like, okay, now, for the next 6 years of your life, sit in classroom after classroom after classroom after classroom after classroom for hours after hours after hours after hours, and go do homework that no one's going to pay you for. How's that working out? Like, it's hard. So I prioritize, I lead with my heart, right, Chandra? And I know that's not cool because, you know, facts aren't feelings, but I lead with my heart. So when my kids have an event, my daughter's a drummer, my son works at the state, my youngest swims, they have an event, I'm there, I have to be there. Coach their teams, I have to be there because I lead with my heart, right? That's love, I have to make sure that works. You're a student. What are your priorities? They have to be school. That's your full-time job. One of the slides, if you can go back 2 clicks, actually, this is my quote, and I think it's great, so write it down. Go back 2 clicks, right there. Look, doing something for yourself is not selfish if it contributes to you being a better person. I'm giving you permission, if you will allow me, to be selfish. When your parents, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your cousin, like, hey, come do this, I want to come. You're like, nope. Like, oh, you're so selfish. Bullshit. I have my education as a priority, and I'm going to go ahead and be selfish. Your opinion of me doesn't matter. I know the direction I'm headed, and I'm not going to let you stop me. And you have to know that. You have to fundamentally believe what you're doing is right and good and true. And if you're not hurting anybody, then keep doing it. Keep doing it. So my answer is, oh, thank you. So my answer is, I prioritize based on love, what I love doing, or what my family needs of me. And sometimes that love is friends too, right? I'll drop everything if a friend of mine who's going through some stuff goes, hey man, Sam, can you meet me at this club or this, not club, can you meet me at Crocodiles? And I'm like, you know what? Yes, I can. And I'll make that time. Some more technical things, by the way, I wake up really friggin' early and I go to bed really friggin' late. I do power nap throughout the day, but like 8 hours, 10 hours of sleep, y'all crazy, man. I don't know who gets that. It's amazing. But you're shaving off 2, 3, 4 hours that I have that you don't have. And I do get my 10-minute power naps, but I hope that answer helps.
Other questions? Yes.
Hey Sam, I just wanted to know which class did the last poem come from?
Your class, Hunter. I don't know, do you remember Alexa and Tabitha, that class? Was that our class? Was that your class?
John? Lopes?
No.
Okay.
Class right before that class. Yeah, all my poetry classes are wonderful, but that one was particularly special for a lot of reasons. But one thing that teachers, and any teachers, I know I see Chandra and Tristan, any other teachers in here? Oh yeah, the great Steve Collins, George Badrukas is a teacher, and anybody who worked here, what I've I'm a better teacher now than I was 15 years ago. And one of the reasons is because I found balance, and so I can ask the right questions of students. I can see when they're struggling. I say, hey, what's wrong? Are you okay? I didn't do that before, but I can sense that now. And just a few semesters ago, last semester, one girl at my class, I'm not naming names because anyway, and she kind of looked like she just was a mess. And I could tell there's something wrong. I said, what's going on? She goes, oh, just a lot of trouble at home. I said, well, like what? Can I help you? And then she talked to me about her boyfriend, and she got hit and all this stuff. If I hadn't asked her, we couldn't have got her the help she needed. We ended up helping with the help of Lloyd Jackson here in our Title IX program. We ended up helping her get a restraining order. That guy's doing time now, 7 years in prison with an enhancement for, yeah, hell yeah. And so sometimes, reaching out, like you can, it's hard to explain because it almost feels like a superpower sometimes, but you can sort of see when people are suffering and struggling, and and it doesn't work for everybody, but you can find a way to help those people. And sometimes the only help they need is the opportunity to speak it. Does that make sense? Just speak that truth. Just say, I'm hurting, I'm sad, this or whatever. One boy came to my office, his girlfriend was pregnant, and he was 19. I said, oh man, is that a good thing? Or, I don't know. And he says, well, we're happy, but my dad's not gonna be happy. And I said, oh, so you don't want to tell him? And he says, and he starts crying. He says, he's gonna be so disappointed in me, right? And he's crying. As he's crying, he said, I'm so sorry, I'm crying. I go, bro, you know me, man, let it go. Let it go. And who's in my poetry class now? Remember Scott's poem on Friday, and I would say this in front of him, so I'm not gossiping. His poem was about his father never saying he's proud of him, right? And what I was consciously doing, you remember my comment to him?
Yeah, you have to tell him that you were proud of
Yeah.
him, because that still is impactful.
Yeah. Sometimes, there's a father wound in so many boys. And, I'm not trying to fill that hole for everyone, but sometimes hearing, I love you, I care about you, I'm proud of you from another dude, which is so rare unless you're drunk, so rare until your inhibitions disappear because you're wasted. Sometimes we have to tell our boys, I love you, it's okay, I'm proud of you. That's hard for dads to do, man. And you know what? If you're a dad out there, you need to do that. Because your kids are going to grow up and write some mean poems about you in my class. And that's what I tweeted the other day after that class. I said, man, I want to be the kind of parent who my kids never write about in poetry class. So.
Time for a couple more questions.
Hey Sam, how's it going?
Good.
I took one of your classes a while back. I think it was nice going back in the entrance. First off, for any students here, you're here listening to Sam, and he's amazing as a person, and even more as an instructor. I think he's so inspirational. His classes are just amazing. And if I could, I would take all my classes.
That's very sweet. Thank you.
So my question, if you don't want to answer it, it's fine because it's a little more personal. So what was one of the biggest challenges, a life experience that really hit you?
Sure.
And how did you confront it?
Yeah, that's easy, man. I mean, my wife knows, and I've got thousands of poems. In fact, a few I skipped, and you can read about them in my book a little bit. But, divorce is very common in our country, right? 51% of, right? But it still hurts. It still hurts deeply. So that was for sure that moment, when the parents come to you and like, okay, we're getting 43. That happened when I was 8, 9, 10 years old, Still hurts talking about it. Like I didn't have, why you gotta ask me this shit, man? I didn't have a father growing up, no one took me fishing, nobody played catch, nobody taught me shit about cars, it was nothing. My mom she had to work, so she was out of the home, so that's why I gravitated towards sports and football and just being outside of the house. So that was traumatic, and then for the a few weekends would go by and we'd hang out, and then pretty soon no weekends, and then that was pretty much it. We just kind of had a phone relationship till 18, 19. And things, got better, then they got worse. But that losing a father to death, to absenteeism, to prison, to whatever, like not having a father in your life is difficult. And then when your mother has to play both roles and has to be out of the house a lot, like you don't have that either. So, I wish I had a mentor friend. It was my senior year of high school, and that's a huge part of the reason I'm probably an English teacher now, although that wasn't really the plan. But a high school English teacher reached out to me, and I cried in class once because I was writing the story about the most inspirational place, and I said it was under my parents' bed. That's where I would hide and read, and it was a huge bed. But then I said something like, but then they got divorced, and then that was not a safe place for me. I lost it in class. It's the first time I cried in public. Now I'm crying all the time. No testosterone. It's gone. That's okay. But she reached out, and she was the one who helped me kind of move through some of that pain. She says, I see a child who needs a father and doesn't have one. And then she talked to me the way so many English teachers become counselors. So the absence and how I got through it. Poems, man, writing helped a lot. And then I take my friendships pretty seriously. I really do. I mean, my brother is my brother, but then my friends are my brothers too. I would do a lot for my friends. I surround myself with a lot of people. My wife and I were just having this revelation today, some friends are here, some friends aren't here. And I was like, I kind of wish so. And she's like, why? They know you already. I think my entire life has been about approval from others, right? I need approval from others. I need other people to admire me. I need that stuff I didn't get when I was a kid. Does that make sense? And nothing's enough. People, you're successful. No, I mean, I feel fine where I'm at, but there's more. There's more. I need to keep going and pushing myself physically, mentally. Like, I have to keep going, and I think it's all part of that recovery process. So I'm glad they got divorced because I wouldn't be the person I am, right? And so I'm not going to get a divorce from my wife just so my kids can grow up and be, but they've got to work through some we've got to find adversity in their life so they have something to overcome. Does that make sense? Yeah. Anyway.
You might have an idea there, Pierstorff University. You teach all the classes.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah. I ain't teaching math, man.
Anybody else? One more? We got time for one more question? Once, twice? All right, well, thank you, Sam. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys, for sticking around.